Hare Krishna. 20th April 2021. Chennai Super Kings versus Sunrisers Hyderabad. The match is going to be played at the Arun Jaitley Stadium, New Delhi. So we are going to analyze and see some stats and see if we can find out any trends from this data that we are going to analyze. This data is taken from 74 IPL matches which have been played at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi, and also the 6 international matches. So in all, we have a data for 80 T20 matches which have been played at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. So let's begin with the first innings average score at this stadium, which is 162.37. That is around 163 runs, which we can expect at the end of first innings as an average score. After that, we'll see what is the average first innings power play score, and it comes to 46 runs in the power play. Then we'll see the average first innings score in the middle overs, that is from over number 7th till the over number 15, the middle 9 overs, it is 67.775. And then next is death overs. The average run scored in the death overs in the first innings at the Arun Jaitley Stadium is 48.41. Now let's see about the second innings data. Obviously, the second innings data is very much dependent on the first innings data because the overall data. But if we see it in micro phases, then we might see some trends that we can analyze. So the average first inning score, average second inning score is 147 at this stadium. Obviously, it is going to be less than the average first inning score. But let's see what about the power play. The power play seen here is very interesting, where we can see that the average score is 47.85, near about 48, which is greater than the first inning score in the power play. And the score in the middle overs is 66.46. This average drops down a bit because we earlier saw that the first innings average score in the middle overs was something around more than 67. And in the death overs, obviously the last 5 overs are very important in the T20 matches, and we can see that most of the T20 matches are won or lost in the last 5 overs, and we can see that the second innings average score here is 32.75 in the death overs. So let's see what we can get from the overall data. So the overall power play score here at this venue is 47.12, which is, this average is greater than the first innings average because the second innings average was more than 47. So the overall average bumps up a bit. And see the middle overs. Middle overs score is 67.11 and the death overs is 40.58. But let's analyze something interesting, and that is the cumulative data. Cumulative data is the score at the end of first over, second over, third over, and so on till the 20th over. So let's see the graph for that and what we can analyze from it. So here is the graph for the cumulative data, and from there we can see that this blue blocks represent first inning score in each of the overs at the end of each of the overs, and this orange blocks show the score at the end of each of the overs, that is first, second, third, fourth, and so on in the 20th over. And here is a very interesting trend. We can see that in each of the overs at the end of first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, so on till the 15th over, before the 15th over, we can actually see that the second inning score, cumulative score, has always been greater than the first inning score. But the 15 over, I think, and the overs prior to that might be a build up to the 15 over. So 15th over is a game changing over for this ground, I think, because from there suddenly the first inning score is always greater than the second inning score. Here we can see that. So most of the matches are lost over here, and the game changing over might just be the 15th over and some overs prior to that. So I think this is a very interesting trend because in none of the overs before the 14th over, the first inning score is greater than the second inning score, and after that the trend suddenly changes. And now we'll see at the run rate for each of the overs at this venue. So first we'll see the first innings run rate. Here we can see that the fourth over is the most expensive over in the power play. So teams can also, the analysts in the teams can also see this trend, and they can maybe bowl their best bowler for this over. For example, if SRH wins the toss today and chooses to field, or anyway, SRH field first, their best bowler, that is Rashid Khan, can bowl this fourth over and maybe make some impact. After that, we can see here in the middle phase from 7th till the 15th over, the 11th over and the 15th over are the most expensive ones. As an average, we can see that overall the stats show that the 11th over and the 15th over have been the most expensive over in the middle phase. So again here, maybe Rashid Khan can bowl this over and create an impact. After that, in the death overs, we can see that the 20th over is the most expensive, as well as the 18th. Here we can see that the 18th over is also very expensive, second expensive after the 20th over. So here also their main bowler can bowl maybe 18th Rashid and 20th over Bhuvneshwar. We have seen this trend lately, not lately, but for quite a few years. Uh, if suppose India scores 160 runs in the first innings and they are going to defend that score, and if the situation is crunch, so and the game comes down to the last two overs. So most of the time, what we see is Jasprit Bumrah bowls the 19th over. He bowls it terrifically and maybe gives less than six runs an over. That we have seen multiple times. And after that, what happens is the last over, whoever is going to whoever is going to bowl the last over, he has a certain uh, a greater cushion of runs to defend. So and he can defend it easily, a bit easily. Like if Hardik Pandya also bowls that over, then he can have that cushion, and then maybe the team defending the score can win. But in the first innings, this trend is a bit different because the 20th over is the most expensive over at this venue. 20th over can be bowled by their most economical bowler or their wicket taking bowler. So this is the trend we can see from the run rate Manhattan of, these are called Manhattans, these tall buildings. So this is the trend we can see from the run rate graph of this venue in the first innings. Let's see what happens in the second innings. So second innings, the striking thing is the power play. The power play overs, there are four such overs where the run rate is above 8 in the power play. Whereas if we see here, there are only two such over in the first innings where the run rate goes above 8. So we can say that the teams try to go hard, to try to go a bit hard in the power play and maximize the power play overs. And let's see what happens then. Then the middle over sees a bit drop in the power play in the middle overs, and it's obvious in the first innings also and second innings also. But here again, a striking thing is that the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th over see a gradual increase in run rate, but suddenly the trend is reversed from the 13, 14, 15, and 16 overs. And most of the teams chasing total at this venue lose their matches here. And also, if not in the 15th to 16th over, then the trend is again, we see the same trend gradually decreasing Manhattans, these buildings, from 17, 18, 19th, and 20th over. So if the game does not end before the 17th over, if the game goes to the last four overs, the teams also lose here because of maybe losing wickets and not being able to keep up the run rate. So these are the trends we can see here. of this venue, that if the teams are chasing, they have to be wary of their run rates in from the 12th to 16th over, and also from 17th to the 20th over. And if the teams are bowling first, then they have to keep in mind that the fourth over is the most expensive in the power play, and also the 11th and 15th over in the middle overs, and the 18th and 20th over in the death overs. So these are some of the trends for this venue, and obviously these are the averages taken from the 80 matches. So rest assured that they are not going to change much in the whatever 4 to 5 matches, or if even if 10 matches are played over a year. They'll obviously it will change a bit, but not drastically. So this was my analysis for the match between CSK and SRH, which is going to be played at the venue of Arun Jaitley Stadium, Delhi. So I'll put up the link in the description for the download of the dataset which I used for this analysis, and also this Python file, that Python code file which you can use for your reference. So if you got any value from this video, and if you found it useful, please do like it.